everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Kavanaugh's Corner. I'm Andrew Kavanaugh. Today's another continuation of the ongoing series that I've started talking about this guy right behind me, MacGyver. As you well know, there's a new show right around the corner where they have now rebooted MacGyver, and we're getting a new show, totally rebooted characters, and it puts MacGyver in the current day, so that'll be kind of interesting to see how they handle that. It looks like it's also going to be a much younger MacGyver as well, so that's interesting. That's something I didn't mention in that last episode. But this is Season 2. This is a look at Season 2 of the original show. It's going to be my review of that season. This season is kind of interesting. This season is one of those ones where it's definitely an evolution of the show. Season 2 kind of builds on things that were set up during the first season. There are a lot more recurring characters showing up in this season. A lot of them actually are going to be on the show until the very end. One of which, and most notable, is Jack Dalton. The character of Jack Dalton is really an interesting one. Jack is kind of a con artist slash friend of MacGyver's, an old friend that kind of always seems to get MacGyver into really sticky situations. Ironically, the new show of MacGyver, the main character other than MacGyver is going to be Jack Dalton. So it's not going to be Pete anymore. They are actually not bringing back the character of Pete. I think out of respect for Dana Elcar, who is not with us anymore. But the character of Pete is going to be gone in this new show, replaced by Jack. So that's kind of interesting. And Jack Dalton of this new show is going to be probably very different from the Jack Dalton we see in Season 2 of the original show. Jack actually makes a couple appearances, I think like 3 or 4 appearances in the second season, and it's almost overkill. Don't get me wrong, I love the actor that plays Jack Dalton. I think he's actually probably one of the best actors that's ever walked the planet. Bruce McGill, Bruce McGill. Bruce McGill that plays Jack Dalton was a great part, and he was a good addition to the show. Added a lot of comic relief. And Bruce McGill is just a great actor. He's just a really great actor. And it was nice to see a new recurring character introduced to the show. There's just a few too many episodes with him for my liking in this. You kind of get sick of him too quickly. But he does play a good part, and he's very entertaining on the show. Also, this season, we get a little better look at MacGyver's relationship with his grandfather. There's little hints here and there about MacGyver's mother and father not really being in the picture. Things about what happened to them they kind of touch on briefly. But MacGyver's relationship with his grandfather is very touching, and to me is one of the reasons why I stayed with the show until the end, was the fact that my grandfather was really like my dad when I was growing up. My grandfather really raised me. And to see another character, that's another really heroic character with a grandfather that, kind of taught him how to be a man and what it was to be a man, and how to, behave and what to do in the real world was really nice. It was really touching. And his relationship with his grandfather is somewhat rocky as well. And it's nice to see them together in this season. It was really, really nice touch. And I liked how they went back and forth there. MacGyver and his grandfather is just a great pair. And I kind of wish they had more episodes with those two together, because they really are great together. The other thing I thought was kind of funny is that this season also is kind of the first season, even though the first season had that episode with the ants, which I thought was kind of wild. There are a few more truly ridiculous moments in this season. The adventure aspect of the show kind of gets a little less grandiose, but there are still moments where MacGyver's stuck in situations that you and I could never even imagine. But it's nice to see him kind of get out of them. MacGyver also is revealed in this season to have a massive love of hockey. which I love. I'm a big hockey fan, so it was nice to see a character on a TV show that actually enjoyed the sport of hockey. He had a lot of baseball, football fans, but MacGyver's favorite sport was hockey, so it was interesting to see. You even got to see him skate in this season, which I thought was cool. Also in this season, we're introduced to the Phoenix Foundation, which is kind of replaces that DXS organization from the first season, which was kind of like a government agency, but it was never really truly explained very well. So it was nice to see the Phoenix Foundation make an appearance in this season. And the Phoenix Foundation pretty much sticks around until the end, so that was nice. There's also one other thing I wanted to talk about in this season is the Season 2 kind of starts where the production company moved from filming mainly in Hollywood and Los Angeles and other locations to filming in Canada. And now I could see they did this as a money-saving move. I think the budget for the show actually got cut immediately after the first season, which is really too bad. It's hard to tell in some episodes, and other episodes it's very, very apparent. But when you go from sun and sand in almost every episode of the first season to cold, rain, and snow in a lot of the episodes in the second season, it's very noticeable that they are filming in Canada. And I mean, it's very, very noticeable. There's a lot of wet streets in this season. Funny enough, there's also a lot of episodes where people are wearing blue. There's a lot of blue, and there's also a lot more winter coats in this season. And that kind of stays that way for a few more years of the show. And if you're not fond of the look of certain episodes, you're probably not going to like the show for the next couple of years. But if you kind of just go with it and not pay too much attention to it, you'll probably enjoy it, because I think the stories still outweigh the overall locations of the show at this point. So I think it's worth checking out. There is an episode. I can't remember if it's the last episode of the season, second to last. I'm having a hard time remembering, but there is an episode in the season where MacGyver gets amnesia. And it's kind of obvious that it's really like, we can't think of anything, give MacGyver amnesia, let's get this over with. Funny enough, it's actually kind of an interesting episode, even though it's an amnesia episode. It's kind of well done in that aspect. It actually handles amnesia somewhat realistically. It may be one of the only shows to do that. I know Miami Vice had a whole slew of episodes where Crockett forgot who he was, and that was kind of crazy. This year it's actually kind of handled normally, because he does get his memory back within the confines of the episodes. That was kind of interesting, but for the most part, I just really hate amnesia as a trope. It's such an annoying cliche, but it does make for kind of an interesting episode, so it is what it is. MacGyver's hair in this season also gets a little bit longer, so we're almost at mullet length in this season. But not quite yet. Overall, I think it's a very entertaining season. I think they do a good job with building the whole character of MacGyver. Again, they're adding more to his character. They do a good job of introducing the Phoenix Foundation as a place where MacGyver kind of works for. It's an interesting concept of a think tank. They don't really do anything per se, but they have their hands in a lot of different areas. So it kind of leaves MacGyver open to many new adventures. So that's kind of interesting. Overall, I think it's a very entertaining season. I give it a 4 out of 5. I think it's definitely worth watching. It's still one of the better seasons of the show. My only problem with the season is that they changed the title tune a little bit, and it seems very compressed in this season. I don't know why they do that. But they fix it in the next one, so it's a little gripe of mine, but I really like the theme song to the show. So anyway, that's it for this week on Kavanaugh's Corner. Next week we're going to be talking about Season 3 of MacGyver, so stay tuned, okay? Bye-bye.